All right, here we are with Will Massey, Custom Marine. We've been working together for how long now?
Oh, December will be 2 years, I believe.
Okay, so almost a year and a half, 2 years. I wanted to interview Will real quick because we have worked together a lot. We've done a lot of different things. We're doing some customized sales training, marketing consulting right now. He went through the boot camp back in December?
December of 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell everybody, first of all, how you found me and how you initially decided to kind of trust that, hey, this is a guy I'm willing to try out.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't know each other at all beforehand.
Gosh, man, I think I'd seen some of your stuff through what's the Orlando?
Oh, the MDCE, the Marine Dealer Conference.
Initially.
Okay.
You sent me a book in the mail.
Yeah.
You sent me an email. You sent me a letter. And to be honest with you, you kind of came to me at a time when we were, we had an ownership change. We were kind of searching, how am I gonna? You said it a minute ago. How am I gonna up my game?
Yep.
And I've been in enough training and enough seminars to understand that, it's great to always hear new ideas or hear the same ideas again many times, but it's so hard to implement them.
Yep.
And Matt, when we went to boot camp, in my mind, what stood out the most is you worked a lot. You provided us with a lot of material, things that as a business operator and owner, I just don't have time.
Yeah.
I'm just jammed all the time, and you sent me home with something.
Right.
We
actually created
stuff. We did.
Yeah.
To pay a guy to go sit and listen is one thing, but to pay a guy and you come home with something that leads to something else and something else in almost a 2-year relationship.
Yeah.
That's of value. So, ultimately, I wouldn't say you've totally revolutionized the way we've sold, but you've changed 70% of it.
Okay, good.
I can tell you margins are up.
I was just going to say,
margins are up.
That's one of the big beliefs
the
that I think you and I click with is that, yeah, you want to hit the volume numbers and you want to have that, and there's times a year that getting units out the door is most important as the end of the season rolls around, but holding margin on the product you should hold margin is one of the best ways to make your dealership more enjoyable, more profitable, and ultimately deliver a better service to your clients.
And more secure for everybody that works.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Honestly, we're a little flat. We're a little down, but because margins are up, we've still made more money. And that is some safety and security that, it's worth something.
Yeah. What would you attribute the 2 or 3 things that we've done together that have kind of had the biggest impact for you and you have 2-3 sales guys?
Well, in my situation, one of the sales guys has worked for me for 16 years. The other one for 10 or 12. And on some level, at some point, I don't think maybe I'm too unique in the fact that they've heard it all from me plenty of times. And, nobody's perfect. I don't need to say, hey, go away, you won't listen to me. Because on big things, they will. But I know in our business, it gets right down to the smallest little details that if you can implement them, can dramatically change what's happening. And that's what we're seeing. And you being here, it's one thing to go to a boot camp. It's another thing to have you come to our facility and build a relationship with my sales team. And this is your third visit this year.
Yeah,
and it takes a while, but they trust you now. They may not always let on to that, but they do because I see a change in their behavior.
Yeah.
And they're buying in.
Yeah, that's the key.
One visit, one boot camp is not. It's not going to work that way. And I'm sure you would appreciate a long-term relationship. And as this thing grows, it's building momentum. And my gut is just now really beginning to to pay off. But the other thing, Matt, is you hit a bunch of different areas.
Yeah.
It's not one thing.
Right. And that's one of the things that I initially, when I talk to people, and we probably talked about it first, is one, you have to buy into, you're going to do something different. Taking care of your customer is key. A couple conversations we had about, if we're going to work together, here's what you have to do.
Right.
But the other is, what I teach isn't a silver bullet. It's not a magic arrow. It's we got to get our work gloves on
Yeah.
and get to work.
Well, just like some of the email templates we've done, those are situations that we feel like we need to address and do a better job of, but now we have somebody to help us do that. We don't have to stop what we're doing and not talk to this customer or not buy these boats because we have to deal with this. We've got your help to kind of collaborate and figure out how to handle a pretty tough issue from time to time that's a similar issue for a lot of folks, and how do we deal with it and make it easier, and it's working. Our email template for the random guy that wants to know how much.
How much is this?
That
boat?
is really, really working well, and my guys see it.
Yeah, I noticed.
They see it.
I asked if it was getting used, and he actually pulled up an email thread that was, the response was what we wanted, and it's something that's evergreen. It's something that we built. We put the time in. We put the effort in. We spent 2 hours creating that template, figuring out, was this the right way? Do we need to include it? And the end result is you have something that you can use forever now, essentially.
Well, we're lucky, and we've talked about this, to have a lot of leads. And when you have a lot of leads, that's great. But how good is the quality? How good is the effort that you put forth in dealing with each one of those leads when you have a bunch?
Yep.
And what we see is that one template. Where are you likely to use your boat, and what's your time frame, and do you have a trade? And hey, by the way, the best thing to do is call me. But if you just can't, email me some of the answers to some of these questions, and we'll get a conversation started. The quality of that effort, to be able to click a template and send that one email with, I don't know what it is, 200 300 words, maybe not that many, but to send that out to 50 people,
and
that's a quality effort.
Yeah.
And it's consistent, and if you keep working the template to get a good result, and you send it out consistently, now the result's going to be consistent, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good thing.
So we talked about margins up, some of the work that we've done together. Some of the people that don't know me, that maybe have seen me speak or read my book, watched one of my DVDs or webinars or whatever, and they're like, I'm not sure, this guy's expensive. I'm not cheap by any means, it's an investment of time, it's an investment of effort, because it's participation. I mean, we spent 8 hours together now just
We're
today.
here after hours today. Man.
I'm all sweaty. We worked today, and then there's the money side. What would you tell them about me, or if they called you up and said, "Well, what's this Matt guy all about?" What would you tell them?
Well, let me first, and I don't know if we've actually ever talked about this. We've talked about a whole bunch of things, but if you're not willing, and it's hard for me sometimes, if you're not willing to really dig and want to work and want to affect some change, just don't even get started. Don't waste your money.
Yep.
Because you're going to have to put forth some effort. I mean, I want to, because I see the potential. I've been doing this for 17 years, and we've been doing it the same way, and I know the result that I'm going to get next year. So we may as well do something different if we want a different result.
Yep.
Common sense. 2, I spend 2% of our gross sales on advertising. And we met at a time when, as someone that writes all the content and does the voiceovers for radio and TV, and I just so burnt out. And so for me, it was an easy choice, maybe a rare kind of thing, but it was an easy choice for me to say, hey, I'm going to take X dollars out of my TV budget, because I'm not so sure how it's working.
Yeah.
Or my radio budget, XM and Sirius has kind of corrupted all that. I don't know. And I just took ad money and wrote a check to Matt. And thought, it's expensive, but if it weren't expensive, what would it be?
Yeah.
It would be cheap.
Yeah.
And so what do you get when something's cheap?
Mm-hmm.
You don't get much.
Right.
And I guess really what it gets down to is if you're going to write a check, it's a big check, you got to be committed.
Yeah, that's a commitment on both sides.
Oh yeah,
because it's frustrating for me when something doesn't get done. And
Oh, yeah.
You and I have had a lot of conversations about, okay, this is a good idea, but is it going to actually get implemented? Is it going to?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a pass.
There are certain things that I feel like we've done pretty good at, and I know there's other things like newsletters we're lousy at it.
Yep.
We just have not. We've not come through and put forth the effort in newsletters. But in the end, we've progressed.
Right. Moving
We've
in the right
progressed beyond what I've spent with you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the whole point. Is to do a better job of what we do and increase margins. My sales guys they're safer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a world where everything costs more and more and more, they're making a little more.
Yep.
You know, the last thing I want is for them to ditch me because they found a better job making more money.
Right. Right.
I need them to make as much as they can because I need them here.
Yeah, because you got good, reliable guys that know what they need to do, and
when they got a little confused about why are we doing all this work, that's what I told them.
Mm-hmm.
This is an investment in you because I need you to perform. I need to show you something different so that you can make some more money.
Right. Right. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking. I know we had a busy, long day. We did a lot of videos today. We did a lot of stuff. But thanks for taking a couple minutes and sharing your story.
Glad to help.
Well, thanks, Will.
You bet.